Start recording, start recording, start recording, start. What is it? Are we on the air? Okay. Alright, so I think it's right this time. Okay, so it was about, he was living in that cave with that goddess. She wanted to get married, right? But all the other gods or whatever decided he had to go back to Ithaca. Even then, however, when he was among his own peoples, his troubles were not yet over. Nevertheless, all the gods had now begun to pity him, except Neptune, pesky Neptune, um, who still persecuted him without ceasing and would not let him get home. Now Neptune had gone off to the Ethiopians, who are at the world's end and lie in two halves. That's how they do. Uh, the one looking west and the other east. What? Well, let's see. It's got a note. Maybe I can look. Black races are evidently known to the writer as stretching all across Africa, one half looking west to the Atlantic and the other east onto the Indian Ocean. Well, we know actually that there were black people in Greece. Yeah, black people have had their, but I don't. Yeah, is that what that means, right? Gone. What is it? It doesn't say that. I mean, Ethiopians are not. A lot of times they're pretty light, right? Amharic people, whatever. But this is ancient, I guess. But black races. What? And we got artificial intelligence building intelligence robots from little comments like this, millions of them all over the internet. Let's see. I'm worried. All right. He had gone there to accept a hecatomb. What the heck is a hecatomb? We gotta stop right here. Look, that's how you do copy. Hey, can I just? Isn't Google like magically? Isn't Google like reading everything that I read behind my back? A hecatomb in ancient Greece, a great public sacrifice, usually of 100 oxen. Yuck. A hecatomb of sheep and oxen. So I guess that's a huge number of sheep and oxen. And was enjoying himself at his festival, but the other gods met in the house of Olympian Jove, and the sire of gods and men spoke first. At that moment, he was thinking of Aegis thus, I'm under the aegis of the goddess Athena. Is that the aegis or the aegis thus? How am I supposed to pronounce that? Aegisthus. Aegisthus. Alright, so what am I even talking about? Okay. He had gone there to accept a hecatomb of sheep and oxen, that's like 200 animals for sacrifice, and was enjoying himself at his festival. Oh, so it's like a barbecue, right? They have a big two hecatomb, a hecatomb of sheep. Is that a hecatomb of sheep and a hecatomb? That'd be 200. Woo, they got some big roasted barbecue going on action right there. All right, so but the other gods met in the house of the Olympian Jove. He has a house, I guess. I guess it's on Mount Olympus since he's Olympian. The Olympian Jove, and the sire of gods and men spoke first. And these people call Jewish people impious because they don't believe in all these characters. Yeah. Is that really fair, guys? Come on. I mean, and this is the thing. This relates to atheism, right? So, I've heard, that in ancient history, people would say, well, Jewish people are atheists, right? Because they don't believe in all the gods. Yeah, I prayed to this God and a miracle happened, so he must be real. They just have odd ways of thinking about things, you know. In the Jewish tradition, yeah, they passed down a legal tradition that tells them don't do that. There's only one God. Shema Israel Adonai Echad. All right. So who's this Olympian Jove, Johnny come lately, horning in on our business? Anyway, okay. No disrespect intended. All right. And the sire of gods and men spoke first. So he's the God of gods. Yeah. At that, see how this so gets out of hand really fast. All right. At that moment, he's thinking of Aegisthus, who had been killed by Agamemnon's son Orestes. See the Iliad. A lot of killing goes on in that. So he said to the other gods, see now how men lay blame upon us gods for what is after all nothing but their own folly. Look at Aegisthus. He must needs make love to Agamemnon's wife unrighteously and then kill Agamemnon. Now, okay, and I just got it from the Orestia, but I thought Agamemnon had, raped Clytemnestra. And then she got with Aegisthus, liked him apparently, and they decided together to take him out. And they set him up and killed him when he came back from Troy or whatever. Isn't that what happened? Well, that's what happened in the Orestia, I think. When he got in the water of his bath or whatever, they threw a net over him, and while he was struggling to get out from underneath the big old net, they dispatched him. Yeah, maybe stabbed him or something. I forget. Clytemnestra, and Aegisthus. Okay, so look at Aegisthus. He must needs make love to Agamemnon's wife unrighteously and then kill Agamemnon, though he knew it would be the death of him. For I sent Mercury to warn him not to do either of these things. He was warned, folks. So what about warning her? That's interesting. To warn him not to do either of these things, inasmuch as Orestes would be sure to take his revenge when he grew up and wanted to return home. Mercury told him this in all good will, but he would not listen, and now he has paid for everything in full. Then Minerva said, Father, son of Saturn, king of kings, it served Aegisthus right, and so it would anyone else who does as he did, but Aegisthus is neither here nor there. It is for Ulysses that my heart bleeds. When I think of his suffering in that lonely sea-girt island far away, poor man from all his friends, it is an island covered with forest in the very middle of the sea, and a goddess lives there, daughter of the magician Atlas. I didn't know Atlas was a magician. Okay. Who looks after the bottom of the ocean. I thought he was carrying the world, but this says he's looking after the bottom of the ocean. This is the thing with these folks, that their traditions get all mixed up and changed around all the time. Every different book you pick up has a different, oh, this is what he does. Oh, well, I heard he was carrying the world. No, he's looking after the bottom of the ocean. Got to take care of that bottom of that ocean, for sure. Okay. And carries the great columns that keep heaven and earth asunder. Oh, it is. There's, I guess, the great, I've never heard it described like that. It sounds like that guy, what is it, Pangu in China. This big giant that pushed the sky up, the firmament, and hold the ground down at the bottom. So he holds it at the bottom of the sea. So if he's doing that, man, somebody draw me a picture of this. I want to see it. Let's see. Atlas in art. Neptune. Let's see what we got. Alright, so here we go. Atlas is looking after the bottom of the ocean. That's not what I'm looking for. Atlas. Yeah, see, he's not on the bottom of the ocean. Here, wait a minute. Yeah, this is all... Okay, now this looks like me. No. Oh, it's Jesus. They all look the same. Let's see. What all look the same, Cal? That's not Atlas. Why have I got Prometheus? Prometheus is the guy that in their religion gives fire to man. And the Zeus was all persnickety about it. So he said, tie this man up and have his liver eaten out by a bird every day and then grow it back the next day for all eternity, because he gave fire so they could be warm. And by the way, create a woman, right, to send to them with all the poison diseases and everything in a big box, Pandora, and send her down. Just to get revenge for them getting the fire. What kind of religion these guys got? How romantic. What's that even mean? Oh, okay, so here we go. Who looks after the bottom of the ocean and carries the great columns to keep the heaven and earth asunder? He's not carrying great columns. This is something has gone amiss here. This daughter of Atlas has got hold of poor unhappy Ulysses. Is that Callisto? Callisto? Calypso? What is her name again? All these names. Okay, and keeps trying every kind of blandishment to make him forget his home, so that he is tired of life and thinks of nothing but how he may once more see the smoke of his own chimneys. You, sir, take no heed of this, and yet when Ulysses was before Troy, did he not propitiate you with a big barbecue feast, was with many a burnt sacrifice? Why then should you keep on being so angry with him? And Job said, my child, what are you talking about? How can I forget Ulysses? Than whom there is no more capable man on earth. I would not say that way. How can I forget Ulysses, than whom there is no more capable man on earth, nor more liberal in his offerings to the immortal gods that live in heaven? He has the biggest barbecue feasts all the time. Hecatomb upon hecatomb. Alright, bear in mind, however, that Neptune, that's my new hip-hop name. I am DJ Neptune. Yeah, okay, no. It was my mispronunciation. Neptune is still furious with Ulysses for having blinded an eye of Polyphemus, king of the Cyclopes. That's the Cyclops, right? His name is Polyphemus, right? Polyphemus is son to Neptune. Neptune, who you been messing with? You got a baby that got one big eyeball in the middle of his head. And it was kill or be killed, man. They were eating. He was eating. What? How are you gonna do like that? Your kid's going around just eating people alive. I think. Yeah, seemed like we'll get to that part in this book. Believe me, it's crazy. All right, so he's mad at him because he poked that guy's eye out, and he only had one. Polyphemus is son to Neptune by the nymph Thusa, daughter of the sea king Forceps. Therefore he will not kill Ulysses outright. He torments him by preventing him from getting home. Still, let us lay our heads together and see how we can help him to return. Neptune will then be pacified. For if we are all of a mind, he can hardly stand against us. What does that mean? Or if we are all of a mind? if we are all of one accord, preferably a Honda Accord. That's the that's the only kind there is, right? I haven't heard of another Accord except Honda. But no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, when somebody says, "What for?" If we are all of one mind, right? That's I think how we say it more contemporary. But this is a little bit antiquated, right? But I like it because it gets rid of the extra words I don't want to bother with because it's only so much time to read a book and then it's not going to be time for it anymore. So get busy, folks. All right. Neptune will then be pacified, for we are all of a mind. He can hardly, for if we are all of a mind, he can hardly stand out against us. And Minerva said, Father, son of Saturn, king of kings, if then the gods now mean that Ulysses should get home, we should first send Mercury to the Ogygian island. The Ogygian island. I gotta look this up. Maybe we can find it on a map. We can go there on vacation or something. Oh, Ogygia. What have we here? All right, let's see. I gotta hit the control plus, control plus, control plus. Okay, that's still too small. Wait a minute. Pesky technology. Control plus, control plus, control plus. All right. Ogygia. Ogygia is an island mentioned in Homer's Odyssey, Book 5, as the home of the nymph Calypso, the daughter of the Titan Atlas. In Homer's Odyssey, Calypso detained Odysseus on Ogygia for 7 years and kept him from returning to his home, and Ithaca wanting to marry him. So this is the only place we ever hear this thing, Ogygia. To tell Calypso that we have made up our minds and that he is to return. In the meantime, I will go to Ithaca to put heart into Ulysses' son Telemachus. I will embolden him to call the Achaeans, the the Achaeans, in assembly and speak out to the suitors of his mother, Penelope, who persist in eating up any number of sheep and oxen. They're just staying there eating all the hecatombs. I will also conduct him to Sparta and to Pylos. I know where Sparta is, but Pylos, I don't know. To see if he can hear anything about the return of his dear father, for this will make people speak well of him. So he's going to talk to Telemachus, right? And embolden him to call the Achaeans. Who is this? The Achaeans. Let's look it up. Paste and go. An inhabitant of Achaea. Why are the Greeks called Achaeans? Pausanias says that Achaean was the name of those Greeks originally inhabiting the Argolis and Laconia, because they were descended from the sons of the mythical Achaeus, Arcander, and Archetiles, the Achaean tribe. That's what that is. History of Greece. The Achaeans were one of 4 major tribes into which the Greeks divided themselves along with the Aeolians, Ionians, and Dorians. Right? That's related to our music, because we had the Dorian and the Ionian scale and the Aeolian. Yeah, we have all kind of modes and stuff from the different Greek tribes. Okay. According to the foundation myth formalized by Hesiod, their name comes from Achaeus, the son of Zuthus, and man, it goes on and on. There's like one god after another. I think it's like the Romans. Every time somebody that's a king dies, they become a god, and yeah. All right, so oh yeah, and Pylos. What is a Pylos? It's someplace in Greece. Right at our fingertips. Historically known also as Navarino, is a town and former municipality of Messenia, Peloponnese, Greece. Oh, there it is. There to the, this is the Aegean Sea, right? And I guess this is Turkey. So the Holy Land, you keep going down here and you're going to hit. You keep going down. You're here, and this is Anatolia, right? It's the Aegean. There's Pylos, right? And there's the Hellespont, where the boat bridge was blown away. Right, Athos, yeah. And then this goes down. You keep going, you're going to hit Antioch on your way to get to Jerusalem. Okay. Alright. I will also conduct him to Sparta and to Pylos to see if he can hear anything about the return of his dear father, for this will make people speak well of him. So people will say nice things about him. So saying, she bound on her glittering golden sandals, imperishable, with which she can fly like the wind over land or sea. She grasps the redoubtable bronze-shod spear, so stout and sturdy and strong, wherewith she quells the ranks of heroes who have displeased her. And down she darted from the topmost summits of Olympus, whereon forthwith she was in Ithaca at the gateway of Ulysses' house, disguised as a visitor. Mentes, chief of the Taphians. Okay. Tell me the truth. Do you know who is the Taphians? It's talking about them like everybody should know that. I do not. In Homeric, oh, we're in Homer's Greece, right? Oh, okay. The islands of Taphos lay in the Ionian Sea off the coast of Acarnania, in northwestern Greece, home of seagoing and piratical. Piratical. Oh, the home of the piraticals. The piratical inhabitants. It's inhabited by pirates. The Taphians, Penelope mentions the Taphians sea robbers when she rebukes the chief of her suitors. She joined him. Wait a minute, okay. And she held a bronze spear in her hand. There she found the lordly suitors seated on hides of the oxen which they had killed and eaten, playing draughts in front of the house. Is that like bowling? I forgot. And see, checkers, draughts. See, I totally forgot. I thought it was like croquet or something goofy. Alright. In front, men servants and pages were bustling about to wait upon them, some mixing wine with water in the mixing bowls, some cleaning down the tables with wet sponges and laying them out again, and some cutting up great quantities of meat. Telemachus saw her long before anyone else did. He was sitting moodily among the suitors, thinking about his brave father, and how he would send them flying out of the house if he were to come to his own again and be honored as in days gone by. Thus brooding as he sat among them, he caught sight of Minerva and went straight to the gate. Now, okay, she's important enough here for us to remind ourselves. Was she the one that was born out of the guy's brain or something? Yeah, see, this edition is using a lot of Roman names. Goddess of poetry, medicine, commerce, reading, the crafts, wisdom, courage, inspiration, victory, war, law, civilization, bravery, heroism, protection, sea, state, family, justice, mathematics. I didn't know Minerva was the goddess of mathematics. Science, technology, strength, strategy, the arts, and skill. That's a lot to keep track of for a god, even for a goddess. Right? Herculaneum. Minerva is the Roman goddess of wisdom, justice, law, victory, and the sponsor of arts, trade, and strategy. Minerva is not a patron of violence, such as Mars, but of defensive war only. From the 2nd century BC onward, the Romans equated her with the Greek goddess Athena. Minerva is one of the three Roman deities in the Capitoline triad, along with Jupiter and Juno. She was the virgin goddess of music, poetry, medicine, commerce, reading, and the crafts. She's often depicted in her with her sacred creature, an owl, usually named as the Owl of Minerva, which symbolized her association with wisdom and knowledge, as well as less frequently the snake and the olive tree. Minerva is commonly depicted as tall, with an athletic and muscular build, as well as wearing armor and carrying a spear. As the most important Roman goddess, she is highly revered, honored, and respected. Marcus Terentius Varro considered her to be ideas and the plan. He considered her to be ideas and the plan for the universe personified. Origin. That's what I want to know. How she came to be, right? She was born in Metis, who had been swallowed by Jupiter and burst from her father's head. Did the reading cow from another world say that she was born out of somebody's brain? Thought so. Yeah. Um, Fully armed and clad in armor. Okay, we're gonna go. This is getting a bit too graphic here. And went. He caught sight of Minerva and went straight to the gate, for he was vexed that a stranger should be kept waiting for admittance. He took her right hand in his own and bade her give him her spear. Welcome, said he, to our house, and when have you partaken of food, you shall tell us what you have come for. He led the way as he spoke, and Minerva followed him. See, they give prasad, right? It sounds like a little bit of India influence. Maybe Alexander the Great influence caused them to change their culture that way. Or maybe it was just naturally occurring. Who knows? All right. If you know, write in the comments and like and subscribe and hit like and subscribe. Okay. He led the way as he spoke, and Minerva followed him. When they were within, he took her spear and set it in the spear stand against a strong bearing post, along with the many other spears of his unhappy father, and he conducted her to a richly decorated seat, under which he threw a cloth of damask. There was a footstool also for her feet, and he set another seat near her for himself, away from the suitors, that he might not be annoyed while eating by their noise and insolence, and that he might ask her more freely about his father. A maidservant then brought them water in a beautiful golden ewer, and poured it into a silver basin for them to wash their hands. And she drew a clean table beside them. An upper servant brought them bread, and offered them many good things of what there was in the house. The carver fetched them plates of all manner of meats, and set cups of gold by their side, and a manservant brought them wine, and poured it out for them. Then the suitors came in and took their places on the benches and seat. Forthwith menservants poured water over their hands, maids went round with the bread baskets, pages filled the mixing bowls with wine and water. Man, this is all Odessa stuff, Ulysses things, right? Man, they're asking for trouble. Right? What's gonna happen when Daddy gets home, right? He's gonna be eating that spinach. He's got a can of spinach. Cracking open a can of that spinach on him. All right. And they laid their hands upon the good things that were before them. As soon as they had enough to eat and drink, they wanted music and dancing, which are the crowning embellishments of a banquet. So a servant brought a lyre to Phemius, whom they compelled perforce to sing to them. As soon as he touched his lyre and began to sing, Telemachus spoke low to Minerva, with his head close to hers, that no man might hear. I hope, sir, said he, that you will not be offended with what I am going to say. Singing comes cheap to those who do not pay for it. And all this is done at the cost of one whose bones lie rotting in some wilderness or grinding to powder in the surf. If these men were to see my father come back to Ithaca, they would pray for longer legs. Man, they'd be praying for some longer legs, man, to be moving on, right? Rather than a longer purse for money that would not serve them, because they're going to be dead. But he, alas, has fallen on an ill fate, and even when people do sometimes say that he is coming, we no longer heed them. We shall never see him again. And now, sir, tell me, and tell me true, who you are and where you come from. Tell me of your town and parents, what manner of ship you came in, and how your crew brought you to Ithaca, and of what nation they declared themselves to be, for you cannot have come by land. Tell me also truly, for I want to know, are you a stranger to this house, or have you been here in my father's time? In the old days we had many visitors, for my father went about much himself. And Minerva, oh, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to the edge of your seat. That brings us to the end of, what is this thing again we doing here? The thrilling episode of the adventure of the chapter of the reading cow from another world thing with Homer, the Odyssey, Aesopus. It's got all the Roman names instead of Greek names. So maybe we should have read the preface or something. But you know how that is. You're going to get bogged down in all that stuff, and it's just going to open up. It's going to create more questions. So might as well get to the heart of the matter, the story, right? And when it becomes the next time, it will be the next time. But until the next time, it's not the next time. And it's not going to be until it is. So, see you again on the next installment.